Hi guys, welcome back to this MBA podcast. I have Aryansh with me, 99.91 and have converted IIM Ahmedabad. बात करेंगे अर्यांश की पूरी जर्नी के बारे में एंड टू डू लिस्ट होगा एंड आप बच्चों ने क्या नहीं करना चाहिए जिसकी वजह से शायद से आपका कैट खराब हो सकता है. अगेन ही क्रैक कैट बाय प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर लाइक राउंड अबाउट 90 और 100 odd days if I'm not wrong. Aryansh, welcome on board. Yeah, happy to have you. You are a general engineering male. बहुत सारे बच्चे एक्साइटेड होंगे टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ टू स्कोर द मैक्सिमम. 99.91 आई एम अहमदाबाद, अमेजिंग जर्नी. लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम अ स्क्रैच लेवल, लाइक 100 odd days आपने पढ़ाई करी. How you started your journey from a level 0 towards CAT 2024?
So when I started my CAT journey, the first thing I did was I gave CAT 23 paper, I think. I just wanted to see that if I go without any preparation, where do I stand? So that gave me a reality check that, okay, it's not going to be that easy, first of all. I was thinking that, okay, maths and logical reasoning would be relatively super easy for me, but that wasn't the case as well. So I realized that, okay, I need to work on it. It's not going to be a cakewalk. And then obviously VARC was something I knew that I would struggle, and that was the case as well. So then I knew that, okay, what all sections I need to work very hard, first of all. So I started with VARC. I did start with sectionals, first of all. On the weekends, I used to do sectionals and all that and see where am I lacking. And after that, I also used to check videos on YouTube. There were strategy videos that how you can structure your VARC approach and all that, how you should start with the paper and all that. And I feel that during CAT, like because CAT is such a time crunch game, I think it's more important that you need to make sure every minute is utilized properly. So in that 40 minutes, I had to make a strategy that what all should be my strong sectors, how should I start with that? And then eventually, if I get time, how I should devote my time to the weaker sections. Should I look at the questions which I've marked for reviews and all that? So that was something like I made sure that I give proper time to the strategizing part as well.
You know, Arash, one interesting question. बहुत बार जब मैं देखता हूँ ना कि 99% एलर्स जो होते हैं, they are very fond of strategy. You know कि क्वेश्चन सिलेक्शन कैसे करना है, क्वेश्चन की डिफिकल्टी लेवल अंडरस्टैंड करना जरूरी है. You should not be indulging in the questions which are not your forte. You know, even study वगैरह. So they are very much into strategy वाला part. However, unfortunately, I see that people who get into 90s or 80s or maybe 95ish kind of a percentile, they aren't that big fan of strategy. Because मैंने 3 टाइप के बच्चे देखे यार over a period of time. एक IITs आपके जैसे extraordinarily talented, but strategy लगा के they get good score. Number 2, जनता which is more of पढ़ाई 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 and पढ़ाई, strategy फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. And number 3, एवरेज बट स्ट्रेटेजी के साथ वो थोड़ा बहुत चलते हैं एंड उनका पेपर अच्छा खासा निकल जाता है. आई वांट यू टू टॉक टू दीस किड्स एंड टेल देम कि स्ट्रेटेजी कितना जरूरी होता है. व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दिस?
No. So I feel that strategy is rather the most important part, irrespective of whether you're an IITian or whether you're just undergrad from, let's say, a tier 2 college or anything. Strategy is the most important part, and वो भी आपको जितने ज्यादा आप marks दोगे उससे आपको पता चलेगा कि okay, after a set of marks you realize that okay, there are a set of things I'm continuously repeating, the mistakes are continuously repetitive. That's when you realize that okay, strategy is somewhere where I'm lacking. And ये सारी चीजें, like everybody whosoever you talk to, they all will focus on the same thing, that CAT में let's just say there are 3 categories of questions: easy, medium, and difficult. Even if you're able to do the easy questions rightly, I'm sure a 90-95 percentile is anywhere you can achieve. And just when you start going towards the medium sections, 97 plus, 98 plus, I think it's achievable, honestly. And I think जो 99 के बाद जो differentiator शुरू होता है, that's where the difficult questions come into picture.
Actually.
And that's previous preparation what helps, I feel. Focus on the easier questions first. ये सारी चीजें आप जितना ज़्यादा previous year papers देखोगे, you start observing a trend. Also, another thing which helps is the more number of mocks you give, the more number of past papers you give, you also develop that confidence. So this has helped me during IIT as well, and also during CAT. You have to, once you have done your preparation, you have to be confident in the actual exam that if I am not able to do this question, nobody else is able to. At least go with that mindset. Don't get underconfident that okay, what happened, suddenly I'm not able to do. No, it's not just you not able to do, it's everybody who's facing difficulty in this question. Just leave it. There has to be an easy question, and if there isn't, just find out which is the easiest in this set of questions, and there will be, and just try to attempt that.
You know, you spoke about easy question. I would love to understand in quants, let's say क्या 4-5 क्वेश्चन इजी लेवल पे आ सकते हैं जहां पे you know, doesn't matter आप IITian हो, NITian हो, अगर आपको बेसिक मैथमेटिक्स आता है, क्या 4-5 क्वेश्चंस बच्चे लोग निकाल सकते हैं आराम से?
I feel 50% questions are on the easier side. If not 50, 40% definite. जैसे 23 का I know paper was dramatically
yeah,
difficult. Let's take that as an outlier. But other
yeah.
than that, there are easy questions, definitely. And just try to
Hmm.
do those first. That will also give you a confidence boost. That also helps in medium questions. You start feeling that, okay, somehow it's my day and I'm able to do
Hmm.
questions quickly. So that gives you a confidence boost that suddenly it becomes a cycle and helps you ahead as well.
Okay. Do you believe that it's kind of an advantage being an IIT and having a great hold on maths? ऐसे हो जाता है quants अगर मैं बात करूं या फिर even at your level you guys need to put in some hard work because ये concept ये sort of understanding है market में कि IIT वाले तो निकाल ही लेते हैं यार. But मैं बच्चों को always कहता हूँ, not every IIT Bombay, Delhi, Kharagpur का बंदा will be into 99 percentile club. So I want to understand from your level, how difficult is it for you guys to sort of clear quants या फिर DL या फिर verbal?
I'll start with quants as you asked.
हाँ.
So it's not like for quants, every single topic was my stronghold. Like trigonometry was never my stronghold. It never, and it still isn't. But then when I saw the paper, I realized that, okay, there are certain set of questions which I can expect. So those were the things I had to revise. There were few concepts I have to revise. But then let's say for somebody who's not from a math background, maybe obviously they'll have to give in more time to do the revision and all. Just because we gave JEE, I feel there's some advantage that, okay, because of those 2 years of hard work during JEE, that you just can't forget all the concepts and you have
Right.
that knack of solving questions so much that there's need to be some sort of brush up. But other than that, yeah, I would say that there's some sort of edge, I would say. Yeah. But you still need to do your hard work. You can't just take it for granted.
Right. You can't go to the exam blindly saying कि मेरा हो जाएगा
Yeah,
करके.
definitely not. Yeah.
कुछ outlier होंगे यार, maybe 0.5% जिनका हो भी जाता होगा, but I think everybody has to work hard at the end of the day.
Definitely.
You spoke about mocks, Aryans. I would love to understand how many mocks you actually took during your journey and what was your process towards analyzing those mocks. If you can, give some idea about it.
I think I would have given somewhere close to 30 plus mocks if I'm not, maybe more
Decent
than
number.
30 to 45 mocks. Yeah. I would have given more than that. So, and it was like just on weekends, Saturday, Sunday, and sometimes even on Fridays, I used to give 2 to 3 mocks easily. And once you are done with the mocks, I think what's also important is to see where you could have improved, what were the mistakes you shouldn't have done. And then nowadays, the platforms also have these things where it shows what amount of time you spent on the question, what amount of time toppers spent on that. So that is also something very important to realize. Yeah. So again, what I was talking about, the difficult questions, you realize that a topper might not have spent that much amount of time on the difficult question, and in fact, you did. The end result is still the same. Both of you weren't able to solve the question. So that's where you are able to save that time, put it in the easier questions and get marks over there.
How much time would you devote mock analysis के लिए? 2-3 घंटा या फिर
yeah,
was it depending
if
on your
this
mood?
2 hours paper, easily 2 hours analysis goes into that. And then obviously once you have done with the mock, you need to see that even if howsoever the difficult the question is, end of the day, you should be able to solve the time. Let's say if you had the entire time of the world, are you able to solve that question or not? Is it a skill issue or is it just a timing issue that, okay, you are just slow right now? So that is also important.
Any tips you want to share with students? कि यार अगर analysis करना है, ये 2-3 pointer का ध्यान रखो and you'll be good with it.
So start with the questions you weren't able to attempt in the first place. So there are questions during the mock you realize that I did put in a lot of time. Somehow I wasn't able to do it. Just go to the solution, see what first, instead of going to the solution, try to do it once again without that timer pressure. That okay, am I able to do it? Was I making something, doing something silly in the exam? So try doing that. Once you're done with that, see the solution. See if there's a better solution to what you did. Like it's possible you also got the answer, but there could be an easier solution to that same answer. So try looking at the solutions. Once you're done with that, try looking at the questions which you were able to do, but it took you a lot of time. Let's say you did a question and it took 3 minutes of your exam. It's not worth doing. Instead, you should have rather left it. So that's also something you need to look at. And then VARC, like for me, it was a weaker section. So there are platforms which would provide you similar sort of questions. Like once you know that, okay, this is something I wasn't able to do, there would be similar set of questions. Try doing that so that once you're done with that, check if you are able to do similar sort of questions next time or not.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, Anish, I'm going to ask you one question here. So quant, you were good at it. DLR, वो भी तुम्हारा अच्छा था, no doubt, because you come from that background. JEE करा, IIT Bombay वगैरह हो गया. I would love to understand, when you moved, verbal was the first section itself, right? वही अपना पहला चीज होता है जहां से हम चालू करते हैं. So you being really talented and having a very good hold on the aptitude domain as such, verbal को तुमने approach कैसे करा? Because जब एक student एक weak अच्छा होने के बाद भी एक weak section जब approach करता है, I would love to understand what was your mentality that point in time कि मैं verbal कैसे attempt करूंगा? ज्यादा question करूंगा या फिर बस करते जाऊंगा? How did you manage that?
So I'll tell you something. I did verbal like how a non-math student would approach quant section. I had this target in my mind, 85 percentile लाना है. ये generally इतने questions पे आ जाता है. So first thing in my mind is कि इतने question अगर सही कर दिए, if I'm 100% sure कि these are the questions I'm gonna get right, okay, I've firstly cleared the first threshold, which is the percentile cutoff for whatever IIMs require. Now, once you're done that, and then you have to strategize for that before. कि अगर इतने questions करने हैं, should I go for the passages first or should I go for these sections, which is my stronghold? Realize that first. When you're doing this, it's pretty evident. And after that, what's also important is like I've never done these passages before. So then I realized that, okay, there's skills like skimming through the passages. You realize, okay, what's important and all that. So those are the things you get used to during your CAT journey. And other than that, just keep a mental check in your mind that, okay, these are the number of questions I need to do. Just don't over attempt the paper as well, because honestly, you're not going to get 100% questions right. Rather than getting those negatives, it's better just focus on your stronger part. And same goes for DILR. Honestly, DILR was also something I was actually worried, because on a bad day, you can easily screw up your DILR. That some things wouldn't just click. And luckily enough, this year, DILR was super easy. Like, so my target before going to CAT, like before I heard about the morning slot, I was in the afternoon slot, second slot. So before going to CAT, my target was that I just need to get at least two sections, two question passages right out of the 4, so that I don't screw up my DLR. After that, the third would be a bonus. If I get it, great. If I don't, I'll just focus on the math part. Surprisingly, it came super easy. And once I heard the review of morning slot, I was like, okay, I just need to go for the kill, like go for the maximum. And it happened on that day. Now that is, again, call it luck or call it just the amount of practice you have done that you were lucky that day. But yeah, the amount of practice also matters. How will you be able to end up being lucky also on that day? So
रीजन मैंने तुम्हें ये क्वेश्चन पूछा बिकॉज बहुत सारे जो बच्चे होते हैं ना मार्केट में, उनको पता है आर्यंश, लगता है कि यार पीपल हु आर फ्रॉम IITs, दे आर इनहेरेंटली टैलेंटेड और ये लोग कैट तो ऐसे फोड़ देते हैं. ट्रेनिंग सो मेनी किड्स ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, आई नो दैट you may be god level at quant or maybe DILR. जैसे तूने कहा कि सर 3 में से 2 सेक्शन किसी भी बच्चे के अच्छे होते हैं at your level, at your peer group. But एक अगर weak section होगा, तो जैसे तूने कहा था कि सर ज्यादा अटेम्प्ट करना जरूरी नहीं है. You need to be very careful with the attempt. So this is what we want to pass on to the जनता यहाँ पे कि भाई अच्छे बच्चों का भी एक आध सेक्शन वीक होता है, but the way they attempt that segment is very important. The kind of approach you have कि मैं कम क्वेश्चन करूंगा, एक्यूरेसी पे ध्यान रखूंगा, ज्यादा क्वेश्चंस में अटेम्प्ट नहीं करूंगा. उल्टा होता है ना एवरेज बच्चे के साथ. एवरेज बच्चा क्या करता है, अगर उसका वीकर सेक्शन है, भाई मैंने देखा है बच्चे 20-22 क्वेश्चन लगाते हैं वर्बल में, which is not required if it's your weaker section. So guys, understand this. Even IITN जो लेवल है, उनका भी एक आध सेक्शन वीक होता है, but they attempt that section very smartly, by strategizing it. Thanks Aryansh for clearing that buzz, by the way. My couple of questions, like last 2-3 questions for you. CAT difficult था या इंटरव्यू वाला जर्नी डिफिकल्ट था?
So one thing with CAT is just a 2-hour exam. So you need to make sure that everything goes right in those 2 hours. The good thing is, if you're able to track CAT, you get a lot of opportunities for interviews. So let's say if you have got a good percentile, you'll get easily 5 to 6 good target colleges, whichever you are targeting. So then it gives you slight bandwidth of error that, okay, one day you might not be able to give your best, but then again you learn from that and are able to execute better in the next day of interview and all that. So that is the only benefit I would say that getting a good CAT score would give you. So CAT has more sort of that randomness, I would say. If you, let's say, even if there's a 10-minute lapse of concentration in those 2 hours, it would suddenly shift your percentile from a level which you were targeting. So just make sure you are on your best peak for those 2 hours. But after that, interviews are, I feel that, and obviously there are good institutes, like I got a lot of help from C2C as well. So there are institutes which would help you ace your preparation, and you get a good sense of idea as well. Like CAT may always, you'll have that, I'm not really sure if I'll get 99.9 or if I just somewhere come down to, let's say, 99.5. It could easily happen, 3-4 questions here and then, and you just slip your percentile. So, but with interviews, I feel it's still a lot more in your control, that it's just a conversation. It will be in your control.
You know, Aryansh, एक question मैं आपको पूछूंगा. See, I'm a non-engineer, okay? You are an engineer. You know, I have this kind of, you know, for a GEM community. मुझे थोड़ा कभी-कभी बेकार लगता है कि because बहुत सारे मेरे भी बच्चे हैं यार. They score 99.50, 80, 90, but यार बच्चों को ना calls नहीं आते. है ना? Calls आते तो convert नहीं होते. And then, you know, बच्चे कहते हैं कि sir, you know, fuck it, I don't want to do it. मैं जॉब कर लूंगा, मेरा है 12 लाख का पैकेज, 13 लाख का पैकेज. एंड जेम के लिए ना आई फील दैट यार ये स्मार्ट बच्चे हैं पर क्राइटेरिया ही ऐसे है, हम क्या करें यार. एंड कंपटीशन तगड़ा है जेम के लिए. यू बीन देयर, हैव डन दैट, जॉइनिंग IIM Ahmedabad, ऑसम. व्हाट पीस ऑफ एडवाइस यू वुड लव टू गिव इट टू दीस गाइस जो जेम है? क्या इनको बताना चाहोगे? गेम में रहना है या फिर ऑल्टरनेटिव ढूंढना है, क्या करना है?
So one thing I always tell whosoever is asking me, this motivation should be from within. Ki whatever the difficulty is, I am going to be in this. And till the point you have not given CAT, don't think about all this. I know the odds are so against us. It's not going to help. Looking at that would just make your journey a lot more difficult. Just stop looking at it. After the exam, still things are still going to be the same. It's not going to help at all. Just focus on what's in your control. Just try to maximize that. End of the day, you can't really do much. Like, you can't change things. Just give your best. And if you're working, it also helps that there's no pressure that, okay, what if I don't do well in this exam? It's fine. So for me, it was just that if it goes well, I'll look at the interviews. Till that, I didn't even think about which do I want to go, which interview I need to prepare for. It was just, and after that, also you get other colleges, like ISB is something totally a different route. So that is again an extra opportunity which you will get. It's not just entirely CAT based. So that also helps.
So finally converts tha IIM Ahmedabad, then IIM Calcutta and ISB.
ISB, the VARC program.
VARC program. जो अभी नया चालू हुआ है, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So कहाँ जा रहे हो? ISB या Ahmedabad? ठीक है, cool है. Aryansh, thank you so very much for giving some time. I wish you all the very best. Do well in Ahmedabad also. I'm anyway going to hold on to you for a longer period of time. I'm going to call you again to you know sort of guide C2C का students. Maybe during you know October, November जहाँ पे CAT अपना नजदीक आता है.
Definitely.
Nice talking to you, Aryansh. Wish you all the best and keep.
Thank you so much, sir.
God bless you, man.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.